Moscow. Mr. Lee from the South. I'm the one they call me Sam. But in a clever sort of way, this music could be working, waiting, and learning and planning. Hey, I can hear this sick and raise the dead.
Welcome back to Animal Songs, a story set to music, written and performed by Jamie Holcomb. Overcoming obstacles sometimes requires a change in oneself. A brick wall can be defeated by learning a new move, climb, or maybe dig. But preceding that transformation, there will come a moment of despair. All our tricks have failed. Our best efforts have come to what? The energy is still there, but the user cannot figure out how to apply it, and so they are immolated by their own desire. From that destruction comes the birth of something new. The phoenix has learned how to swim. Resuscitation. Penguin. You see, I have been much more like Pinocchio Seymour Shaw, the younger library-enshrined Pinocchio, than I have realized. Here I am in my sacred crow form, the body our young villain will soon discover through his part in Florence's play, his work with woodwinds and air magic. Lagaina, indeed. I am seated in my rocking chair, so to speak, perched on the edge of the roof of a rickety wagon, bent forward, beak poking through the bars of a window, watching our poor rag boy wipe tears from his cheeks and coddle the red gleaming heart bottle concealing the poor innocent, that baby of days, the infinite dawn of Phoenician hope. And from this perspective, with my head upside down, I have imagined that my power is limited, at first thinking that I was merely the transcriber of these scenes of religious significance, and then I believed that my transfiguration was again limited but to ghostly infusion. And at first it was. I could project into dreams, seep into reality through memories I shared with our misguided dragon, who fancies himself a wild beast but who is merely a dog on a chain, snarling and thrashing all the more for the strength of her steel around his throat. I believed I was like a specter and that a wizard can only work in the shadows because at the conclusion of this course, our young friend will be, for lack of a better phrasing, because of certain constraints for which I'm still currently digging out the keys, the boy dragon will be reincarnated as a fox for a spell. Just a spell. His voice will be stolen and he will be rendered the impotent transcriber of birdsong, the state in which you found us when we set out from the library, as they say. Now, however, I am perched bat-wise in the body of a crow, and if I merely invert my posture, that is, if I were to take my beady auric eyes off the poor suffering Peter and the imprisoned innocent, I would see, naturally, the hooded figure holding the reins. Hers may not be a mind I should attempt to, a book whose spine I should crease. The blackest of black holes consume even light. Yet she holds the reins to what? A fellow to whom I was once introduced by the name of Sebastian, her oldest friend, I hear, a horse who presumably knows a few phrases of crow talk. Ah, my pet, a sign. She hears my voice, but she cannot interpret the words. Sebastian, can you stop walking? He will not stop. You came to visit your old granny, did you? The ash plant rests across the seat beside her. What is its significance? I have some theories. Pretty bird. Sebastian, stop. I am asking you to stop. What's wrong, my pet? Is the birdie bothering you? He's trotting even faster. Whoa! She tugs the reins, and so she bends him to my purpose, once again outfoxed. She descends the creaking steps, the ash plant unguarded. While she whispers in her pale horse's ear, I will test the crow's strength. Peter has let his tears dry. He sees me at the bars. I can pull the stick no higher. My pet, my friend, why are... Look into my eye, Peter. See the sign you know. His eyes widen, those emerald questions. Does he understand? His fingers slip to grip the duck's beak. You're a good boy, Peter. There, my pet. No more nasty crow. Darkness belongs to no one. We each are armed with tricks. Once again within this cart, the easily overlooked black bird perched upon a shelf. There are no potions displayed to beg investigation. Only the hermetically sealed heart jar and its sacred contents contain this scene's significance, and only our faithful friend can find the answer to its purpose. He considers the pursed lips of the ash head. He considers the hitherto unseen crow peering from the perch. The cart begins to creak, and still she doesn't miss it. It meant nothing to her then. She doesn't know what power it might possess. Peter, her eyes. Whisper, it would be better if I flew this coop, but if I rustle at the bars, she'll see our secret. Peter, in waking life, can I speak to him? Peter, Tangy. Whisper, silent. Think. Peter, Tangy, touch. There, we are 2 minds removed, though that is more than I could say in my ape. Touch, he wonders, presumably, as he twists the duck head in the growing light of day. Touch. He lifts a finger to its lips. Not that way. Touch. He considers the holy artifact. From the beak of that bird's kiss, the heart jar erupts in light. Red light, pink, ultraviolet, so bright not even a black goddess could miss its glow. You. Granny the witch pulled her cart to a halt, sending the passengers in the compartment tumbling into the wall. I told you, said Tangy to the bundle of rags beneath the wailing baby. I got my stick back. The witch was spitting curses as she descended the creaking cart. I'll. Her feet scuffed along the compartment edge, and Tangy readied herself, stick pointed at the back door. Peter scrambled to his feet, clutching Todd to his chest, and he stammered, How? You alive? True, she said, though I probably died at some point, or maybe I'm still down there swimming. She clicked her tongue and shook her head, chiding some invisible memory. Oh, Gabalua, Gabalua. She still had her staff readily pointed at the door. The scuff of the old woman had ceased. On the other side of the wall was silence. Your magic, said Peter. So is that your wand? Magic needs no accoutrement. Then, but the stick, why? Why? Tangy turned to the bewildered boy. Her face stretched into a grin that almost seemed to shine with the dawn light her fangs reflected. Because I like it. She twirled the staff nimbly between her thumb and forefinger, with a strength much greater than could be expected from such a small person, and she considered the twisted beak of the staff head, though I couldn't tell you how I came to find it. Which begs the question. She cupped her ear and leaned towards the door. She's certainly taking forever. The question? Said Peter. He patted Todd, who had quieted his crying to the occasional longing coo, and both boys considered the girl through perplexed green stares. Question? About the stick. You were saying how you found it. Oh, yes, I've yet to. Now, where is she? She thrust the ash plant towards Peter and let go. The boy bent and caught the staff over his shoulder. Hold this. I'll only be a minute. Tangy, he said. Yes? I love you. Oh, Peter. She pinched his cheek and vanished in a flourish of black feathers. Blackness waited beyond the bars. No pink dawn light greeted me as I flew. Even my own dark feathers assimilated into the void. Yet I was there. Nothing surrounded what I felt to be myself, like when you shut your eyes in a dark room. You and that endless darkness were one thing. What you saw was yourself. The you felt to be was within that endless expanse. So like when you shut your eyes was this sudden flight into blackness that a memory shone forth within me. I was a boy once, in a gray-blue room, a thick carpet, a quilted comforter, a high queen mattress, all cast in the pale blue light of early morning. I had been small. The room reveals itself from that perspective, the eyes of a boy who once, always, was, is, climbed into the pale blue warmth of his sleeping mother. There, he curled himself, like a tiny dragon into his world. He curled like a creature in its den, the warmth of its mother, odorless miasma inherent in itself, the child in its place. He shut his eyes, and in the darkness shine 1,000 jewels of every shade and luster. Spider eyes. She smiles. Hello. My grandmother who made all this possible. Tricky trickster tricking. Her tricks echoed like stalagmite droplets in a cave. I thought you were on my side, we seemed to say together, though not a sound could be heard over the wash of her echo. I taught you to use it, we said, or thought together again, but in very different ways. Finally, I heard myself speak. I'm not here to defeat you. Her million eyes blinked and her fangs glistened in their myriad glow. You defeat me. Her voice was everywhere. I want to make a deal with you. I want to eat. Her mouth stretched wider, and those infinite eyes seemed to draw nearer to me. Still, I was nowhere. Yes, you will eat me. Forever. Me. You can have me. Every day. I'll go right down your gullet. I could eat now. Perhaps, once. One meal of little satisfaction. An hors d'oeuvre. A morsel of fried fowl. Delicious, but in the end not so satisfying. What I'm offering? No tricks. Naturally, but I'm not lying. I'm only going to warn you once. Accept my deal or suffer the consequences. Now, of course, I'm an old trickster from way back. After all, magic is only sleight of hand. Now you see me, now you don't. The mystery of peekaboo. There's something on your nose. I stuck my hand out, and it was so worth the pain and loss. What's something as small as a finger worth compared to the joy of life? Besides, I achieved an answer, the ever-pursued item concealed in this web of clues we occupy. It's all out there, signs for me to read, this and that to put together into truth with a capital T. She bit down, and the pain was glorious. For in that instant, as I lost my right pinky, ring, and middle fingers, at the selfsame moment I knew exactly who I was. No question. The sun. Oh, and she fried beautifully. Every inch of the perceivable ignited in my glow as I assumed the form of dawn. I am a trickster. There was no deal. Only my decision could move us into the future, so to speak. Darkness surrounds me, and she can dance. She does, as shadows flicker in the firelight, animated nothingness, death-given life. In other words, snack away, Granny. In other words, I see. Nothing escapes my sight. It is written in my book of Persian hymns that a monk sitting in the mouth of a cave traces the track of the sun arcing across the sky. East to west, he watches it pass. He watches that body move. He sees. The verse continues by urging the reader to contemplate this scene. It promises that meditation on the monk in the cave mouth watching the sun's adventure will lead the reader into new vistas of understanding. I am the sun, which is by no means the literal interpretation that the initiate is intended to read. And I see everything. And now I can feel my old enemy. Not her, she is at my back, locked in my embrace, her million legs, her infinite eyes. This little whistler, the boy who would be king. No, not him at all. You will see. It is a very old story, I see. I hear his weak little voice, and I can see, in my secret sun's eye, I can see his thin lips pursed, papery skin fluttering against his onion-stinking breath as he whistles at me, a mockery of a bird. It is an old story that has taken this strange course to tell. You will see, I will show you, this little boy who wants to raise his arms and watch the world dance, he who actually believes the sun bows before him. My parasite, I will show you, you will see. Now, Granny, watch. Meanwhile, spotlighted in the yellow rays of day that seeped through the bars of the wagon window, young Peter the rag boy sat cross-legged, the newly reborn Todd cradled in his right arm, while the ash plant leaned over his left shoulder, its lips kissing the warming bars of their prison window. He watched the back door, eyes unblinking. She'll be back, he said to Todd, himself, no one. I'm sure of it, she. Presently the door lock clicked. Peter held his breath. His body stiffened. The wagon door creaked open slightly, a centimeter, falling under its own weight. Tangy, he whispered. The remembered rasp of the witch's chuckle resounded in his mind. No one responded. Only sunbeams peeked around the door frame. Peter rose, left hand on the ash plant, and he leaned against the staff. Clutching Todd tightly to his chest, he paced along the compartment. Extending the stick, he used the duck head to nudge the back door open wide. The yellow world awaited him. He poked out his head, looking side to side. Tangy, he said, enough games. Tangy. He jumped to the ground, which he noticed was laced with hoarfrost, despite the sunlight. Down the road he saw a thickness of fir trees, a forest from which the wagon had recently emerged. White and black crags surrounded him, and as he paced to the right of the cart, he saw that the road edge ended at a steep cliff. Tangy, he called, and his voice echoed through the cavernous mouth of the cliffs. All around him rose peaks of stone. The sky above was blue and cloud-streaked. A bitter wind whistled through the heights. Despite the precarious situation of the cart on the mountain road, as Peter had observed those surroundings, he had been smiling. He had called forth to her 3 times. No one had responded. As he crept around the wagon, pebbles crumbling under his feet, he tried to not look down. Many stones fell, but Peter never heard a single crash. The marble face of black and white disappeared into a cloud of gray. Tangy, he said beneath his breath. Peter rounded the cart, and he looked up at the driver's seat. On the wooden ledge, beneath the hanging black lantern, there sat no one. No one held the reins to the faithful, if misguided, Sebastian, standing at the ready. Peter mounted the steps to the driver's seat. He let the staff rest beside him, and he situated Todd upright in his lap. He turned over his shoulder to look through the window, and his eyes followed straight through the open door to the declining road bending into the thick forest. It looked as if the compartment contained that world. Peter still held out hope that he would see Tangy laying on her back on one of the benches. In his mind, she reclined on the left-hand bench, like a cat in a sunbeam. She tilted up her head and gave him a wink. "Why?" said Peter softly to himself. Again, the thin blade of air whistled through him. Todd whimpered and cooed. With no other recourse, Peter picked up the worn leather reins. Let's find some place to sleep, he said to Todd, Sebastian himself. The horse flicked his ears. We'll follow the road, said Peter. Maybe he'll take us to Granny's house. He snapped the reins and Sebastian started the same slow trot along the ice path, no questions asked. But in Peter's heart he wondered. Maybe she'll be there, he thought. Maybe she's waiting out there right now. We will soon see. This has been Animal Songs, written and performed by Jamie Holcomb, produced by Supermoon. Find us on TikTok, YouTube, or at our website, gosupermoon.com. That's GOSUPERMOON.com. You can also find our work alongside many other talented artists at looksees.com. That's LOOK-SEES.com. This concludes the Penguin chapter. I wonder what spirit we will meet next. Until then, thank you for listening.
I want to tell you what